In this video, we will learn how to add sign up or registration functionality in ASP.NET Core. Using this sign up process, we can add some security in our web API application. So we have to add new user in this application. To add a new user, we have to make some changes in the database. If you want to add users, then we have to create new table. In that table, we will store all the details about the user. We need these tables to handle role management, login management, and etc. In ASP.NET Core, we can handle this scenario in multiple ways. Either we can create entire code custom or we can use some built-in libraries. In ASP.NET Core, we have a couple of built-in libraries that we can use to handle authentication and authorization. If we are using these libraries, everything that we require to handle login, sign up, change password, forget password and everything that is required to work with authentication and authorization in the modern world. So we will get everything by using those libraries. In ASP.NET Core, we have to use Identity Core framework for authentication and authorization. So this is the best framework. Let's see what is Identity Core. Identity Core is an open source framework and supported by Microsoft. Identity Core has everything that is required to work with the authentication and authorization. Includes sign up, login, change password, forget password, and multi-factor authentication. Login with a third-party application like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft, etc. This Identity Core will work with Entity Framework Core. It will provide all the tables that is required to work with authentication and authorization. Let's install this Identity Core in our Visual Studio. Identity Core packages are available in NuGet. Let's open NuGet. Right click on project and then choose manage NuGet packages. In the browse tab, search for Identity Core. Here, choose this one, Microsoft.aspnetcore.identity.entity framework core. Um, we are working with entity framework core, so we have to use this one. If you install this package, then along with this package, Microsoft.aspnetcore.identity, this package also will get installed automatically. Now click this install button here. Before that, change the version 5.0. Then click the install button here. Click OK here. Then click I accept. This package installed successfully. Now we have to include this Identity Core by making some changes in our application. First, we will create a new model in our models folder. So right click on models folder, then choose add new class. Your class name will be application user, then click OK. Here we got new class. Inside this class we will create the properties for user. Now inherit this class from identity user. Add the namespace. This identity user belongs to Microsoft.aspnetcore.identity. Let's see the definition of this class. Right click, choose go to definition. Again right click, go to definition. See here, there are more columns given by the Identity Core framework. If you want to use all these columns, then no need to create this application user class. You can simply use this identity user everywhere. I want to add few properties like first name and last name. So I have created this new class here. Now go back to application user class. Most of the columns are provided by identity core. So here we will create only two properties. So type string, property name, first name, copy this, paste it below that, change the property name, let's say last name. That's it. We have to make some changes in context class. Now we have DB context class inside this data folder. So bookstore context. Here instead of using this DB context, now we have to use identity DB context. Add the namespace. This identity DB context belongs to Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.identity.entity framework core. If we are not using this application user class, we can leave it as it is now. But if you are using this new class, then we have to provide this class name here. Let's say application user. Add the namespace. In this place, we might have one doubt. Earlier, we are using DB context. Now, we are using identity DB context. You may think that some of the earlier functionalities will not work. To get the answer, let's see the definition of this identity DB context. See here, this class is inherited from identity DB context and identity user. So right click, choose go to definition. Again, go to definition. Again, let's see the definition of this identity user context. See here, this identity user context is derived from, inherited from this DB context class. Okay. So, if you are using this identity DB context, then we are derived from this DB context class. So, there will not be any problems in previous functionalities. Now, let's open startup class. Here we have added DB context class. Now we are using identity DB context. So we have to tell the application that we are using identity core in this application. So we can do that by using this services dot add identity. Here we have to provide some classes. In the first parameter, we have to pass user class, that is application user, comma. In the second parameter, we have to pass role class. We have not created any custom class for role, so we will use the default class identity role. That is provided by the identity core. Add the namespaces. Now, let's see the definition of this add identity. Right click, choose go to definition. See here, this is expecting two parameters, T user and T role. T user means identity user. If you have not created any new class, then you can use identity user class here. Then here we have to pass role. We have not created any custom class, so here we are using identity role here. Now we have to add new store in this startup class because we are working with entity framework core. So here enter. Here we can choose add entity framework stores. Here we have to pass name of the context class, that is bookstore context. Now we have added and configured the identity in this application. We need some tokens because we are dealing with identity. We can use default token provider or we can use third-party token provider. So here we can use add default token providers. If you are using this default token providers, then the identity will add all the tokens. So far, we have installed the identity core and also we have configured it in this application. Now, we have to create new migration script. For that, go to Tools menu, then choose NuGet Package Manager and then choose Package Manager Console. Here, let's add new command to add migration. Let's say add hyphen migration. Then migration name will be added identity. Then press enter. Here you have to give the meaningful name. It will take some time. See here, in this migration, we have two methods, up and down. Okay, in this up method, here we have some commands to create new table. First table is ASP.NET roles. Then we have ASP.NET user. Then we have ASP.NET role claims, ASP.NET user claims. Then we have more tables like this that are provided by identity. These tables are helpful to handle everything related to authentication and authorization. Now we have to update the database. For that we will use this command update hyphen database. Then press enter. It will update our database. So it's done. Now go to SQL Server Management Studio. Here, right now we have only two tables. Right, right click here and then choose refresh. Expand this DB, Bookstore API DB. Then expand tables folder. See here, we have lots of tables. We will use this ASP.NET users table to add all the sign up records. Now expand this ASP.NET users table, expand columns. See here, we have first name and last name. Columns are added by the application. Remaining all the columns are provided by the Identity Core framework. So we have installed and configured Identity Core framework in this application. We have also generated new tables in this database. In our next video, we will work with sign up. Thanks for watching this video.